After a few weeks with your new puppy, you might think you're really getting the hang of this. And I'm sure you are. But then something changes. It's the weather. Today's video is all about how to manage all those crazy days that different weather brings. We want our puppy to be like the Postal Service. They operate in the rain and the sleet and the snow and everything in between. Your puppy can learn to do the same. Michelle here with How to Train a Dream Dog. Before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss when a new video goes live. Okay, let's get started with the weather topic. Right now, where I'm at, it is winter, so we're gonna start there. But if you're watching this at some other time of the year, don't worry, I've got you covered, stick with me. When the cold weather strikes, you might be tempted to look up training games that can be done indoors. I have a lot of those that I could share with you. And you might even think you need to stock up on those pee pads because of the snow and the cold. Not so fast. Just because we might want to hunker down with a hot chocolate and a blanket, it doesn't mean that your puppy is ready to do that too, or that you should limit their exposure to the outdoors. Weather doesn't affect your dog's exercise level, nor his need for an outdoor potty break. Now, if you live in a snowy area, like I do, you can teach your dog to go potty on the snow, or you can use a covered area that is designed for potty breaks, or you can shovel a spot in the yard for those potty breaks. You kind of have to figure out how much your puppy likes the snow. Some of them love it and have no problem doing their business in it, while others need a little convincing, or should I say positive association with it. This will also depend on how much snow you get and how big your dog is. There are a lot of factors that go into it, but I'm here to tell you that keeping the potty spot outdoors, not inside, is going to be your #1 priority. I never recommend potty pads or pee pads. Now, here's something that you might look into if you're going to make a new spot for potty breaks. This is my alternative to pee pads, and I highly recommend you consider it. And if you are still having trouble with potty training in general, you might want to consider my free potty training lesson. Now, you can grab the lesson and other training resources in the new puppy starter kit. The link is below this video. Finding a way to maintain your dog's exercise regimen is also important. Many people are tempted to put a doggy coat on or boots on their pup when the weather gets chilly. That's most likely not necessary. Again, there are a number of factors here, but generally, if the weather isn't below freezing and you won't be out for more than 20 minutes, then no extra coat or sweaters or shoes are needed for your dog. I do recommend that you follow the general rule of thumb when it comes to outdoor exposure. So under 40 degrees Fahrenheit means no more than 20 minutes outdoors for most dogs. You might find that your walks are a little bit shorter now. Maybe you want to break up the exercise into smaller pieces throughout the day. Or maybe you want to add in an extra session of training inside to help burn off that pent-up energy. But just remember that you will often see unwanted behavior show up if your puppy has too much energy. So however you manage it, exercise is important, no matter what's going on outside weather-wise. Now, I want to make a special point here about dog booties. I know that we all wouldn't dream of going out in the snow without footwear for ourselves, but our dogs do it every day. There are a few situations where dogs would need foot protection in the form of booties. Mostly, those are needed for dogs who are working on rough terrain, like search and rescue dogs, or sled dogs who will be outdoors for hours. If you're simply raising a companion puppy, you probably don't need the booties. In addition, many dogs find these booties very irritating. I'm sure you've seen all those videos on YouTube where the dog is walking around wearing the booties, acting all wonky while their owners are laughing hysterically. Honestly, I cringe when I see those videos. Those dogs are clearly unhappy. Why do we need to do that? We don't. So take my advice, save your money, and skip those little booties. Besides, even if you were to introduce them to your pup, you actually need to start the training from day one and make it a positive experience. We also don't throw all 4 boots on at once without some counter conditioning exercises first. The best way to protect your pup's paws is with a paw wax. This can help keep them healthy, especially if there's a lot of salt on the roads or the sidewalks. I recommend Musher's Secret. Let's talk more about snow for just a moment. Some dogs do really love it. Other dogs take a little while to warm up to it. Other dogs are more fair weather canines. But you can desensitize your dog to the snow and help them at least tolerate it for walks and potty breaks. We do this by making a positive association with it through rewards like treats and play and praise and just simply having fun. The more you make it fun, think birthday party here, the more your dog will assume it is something fun. Now, if you have one of those dogs that loves cold weather and playing in the snow, embrace it and use it as part of their exercise routine. We want our dogs to experience joy in the things they do. So sometimes we have to go out of our way to let them have their fun. Just remember that it's really important to dry them off completely when they come back inside. A dog that doesn't get fully dried soon becomes a stinky dog. I keep a brush near the door so I can brush out the snowballs from my dog's fur, the ones that have the longer fur. I also use a large absorbent rug by the door so the dogs stand on it while I wipe their feet off or brush out the snowballs. I want you to know I really do know what it's like to live in a place where it gets negative temps and several feet of snow, all while owning a dog. So many people say they just couldn't take their dog out because it's too cold. Remember, our dogs run a few degrees warmer than we do, so it's not as cold for them as you think. I used to have a hairless Chinese crested dog, a little naked dog with fur only on his ears and his tail. Guess what? I still took him outside to go potty. I stayed consistent with his schedule. I rewarded him when we went out there. I played with him out there, and he learned to love going out and coming back in and snuggling up to be warm. Full disclosure, he did wear a sweater when he went outside, but it always came off in the presence of other dogs, so there wasn't a miscommunication between him and other dogs. For most dogs who shiver out there, they often shiver either out of anxiousness, overwhelm, or even excitement. Yes, some short-haired dogs may shiver if they are cold, hence why my Chinese crested wore his sweater outdoors. Okay, let's move on to spring. Maybe your area doesn't get a lot of snow, or maybe you don't get any. Oh, that would be nice. No matter where you live, surely there will be a time when you get rain. Whenever the weather starts to turn, I always get a lot of emails. Michelle, my puppy refuses to go out in the rain. What do I do? Well, just like with the snow, we want to teach them that rain means fun and good things are going to happen. You may have to first desensitize them of the sound of the rain, especially if it's accompanied by thunder or it's a very hard rain. Now, you can do this by playing the sound of rain at a low volume while delivering treats. The sound stops and the treats stop. The sound starts up, and again the treats do too. Now, you can gradually increase the volume to more closely mimic what is happening in real life outdoors. This training changes the association in your dog's brain to a more positive one. This is important to do before you take them out in the rain, so puppy is prepared when the real rain is happening. Speaking of rain, I have really good news for you. Your puppy is waterproof. He doesn't need a rain jacket, even if you think you look super cute in it. When we put clothes on our dogs, we really restrict their ability to communicate. After all, body language is their primary language. It's much better to time our activities to go out when it's lighter rain or make outings a little shorter, or to do a little more exercise in the house than it is to put on that rain jacket. With rain comes mud. This is definitely not the fun part of the spring season. With just a little bit of work, you can train your dog to offer up his paws for a quick wipe down when you come in from being outside in the muddy area. Need some help with that? Well, in the online course, 30 Days to Puppy Perfection, I do cover several techniques to work on behaviors like this. In many parts of the world, spring means a time change too. You can easily plan in advance for this and adjust your puppy's schedule to it. What I recommend is that you start about a week in advance and adjust your puppy's sleep and eating schedule by about 10 minutes each day. This way, when you have to change the clocks, his system will be better adjusted than if you didn't do all the prep work ahead of time. Okay, moving on to our next season, summer. For some of this is the time you have been waiting for. But for some parts of the country, this means it's hot. Like super hot, like cook an egg on the pavement hot. When taking your dog out in the heat, you want to be very mindful of heat stroke. Dogs don't really know how to regulate themselves. So like a toddler at a birthday party, they will just simply keep going and going. It's up to us as the humans to notice signs that they need a break, or simply watch the clock and amount of exertion and add in some breaks. So some warning signs of heat stroke in dogs include excessive panting, drooling, vomiting, uncoordinated movements. Now, along with heat comes hot pavement. You definitely have to watch this, as pavement can actually burn a dog's feet and seriously injure those pads. Again, here is where we don't recommend booties, but instead, time your walks when the pavement isn't so hot. And also consider using a paw wax, again, like that Musher Secret. The best way to tell if the pavement is too hot is to use the back of your hand and place it on the pavement for 10 seconds. If you can't keep your hand there, it's going to be way too hot for your dog's paws. You will also want to make sure your pup has access to plenty of drinking water. Now, along with summer comes a vacation. Maybe camping too? Now, it is great to bring your dog to new places, but you'll want to make sure that he's fully complete and up to date on his vaccinations before he goes. You'll want to make sure that you pack those records with you wherever you go camping too. Most camps and lodges do require proof of the rabies vaccine. You're going to also want to take some time to desensitize of any new things that you're expecting him to use. This means things like a life jacket or crates for the car or different one that you use for traveling, tents, and of course, any kind of new leashes or harnesses. Trainer tip here, dogs don't generalize, so this means that even if you've taught him to go potty outside at your house, he needs to still be retaught that same skill wherever he goes. Now, it definitely won't take as long to learn it, of course, but you have to be mindful of taking a step back with the training when the environment changes. Be sure to reinforce when your puppy goes in a new location, like a campsite or the cabin grounds. All right, let's move on to our last season, fall. There's not a lot of new things about fall that we haven't already talked about, except one thing that your puppy might find very interesting. Leaves. If you think about it, leaves are the perfect dog toy. They are light, so they move, they make noise when they move, and they're full of interesting smells. No wonder why puppies are so distracted by them. Sometimes too distracted, am I right? Now, in order to really leave the leaf alone and focus on the task like going potty or taking a walk, we have to set up some specific training sessions designed to teach our puppy to leave the leaves alone. This might mean bringing a leaf inside the house and practicing indoors where there are less distractions, or at the very least, practicing in your backyard before you head out on a walk. We call this pre-training. Now, it's not a horrible thing if your puppy grabs a leaf or two, but we definitely don't want them to become part of their regular diet. So do him and yourself a favor and train him to leave the leaf. Leave it is an impulse control skill I do teach in the online course. One more thing I want to mention, natural disasters. So for those of you in the hurricane or tornado areas, you know that evacuations could always be a possibility. So just plan ahead for your dog's safety and have a bag packed for him too. This is also good advice for any of you guys in earthquake zones. And this is the one reason why I feel that crate training is a lifetime skill. You can imagine being in a temporary shelter with a dog not in a crate? Yikes. How will he ever get any rest? And this could already be a very stressful situation for you both. I bet you'd love it if someone could bring along your bedroom when you had to evacuate. So do right by your dog and do that for him too. Bring the crate. If you need more help with crate training tips, be sure to watch this video here. Okay, I think I've covered everything, unless you've got some other crazy weather system I don't know about. In the comments below, tell me if your pup has trouble going outside in certain weather conditions.